What other exclusions are there that could prevent somebody from being able to participate in a SkillBridge program?
There's a numerous set of different circumstances that you could face. We've seen a lot of them as we've helped folks. One would be if you're going through a medical evaluation board. So a lot of military members, especially as you get near the end of your tour or duty, if you've done a full 20 years, especially, you have things in your body that are broken. And they're going to do a review on the way out. And for some folks, they are going to force you through a medical evaluation board, even if you don't want one. On the enlisted side, at least within the Air Force, you can opt out of that. On the officer side, you cannot. So they force you through it. And while you're going through that, the issue that you run into is you're supposed to be doing your SkillBridge, your terminal leave, if you take any, and your permissive TDY for house hunting, job hunting, all that type of stuff, all combined within your last 180 days per the regulations. And so when you're going through a medical evaluation board, you don't necessarily know, like, if they're going to push you out through a med board, you don't know when your last day is. And so there are exceptions. There are ways to get waivers to that for the last 180 day limitation, because they could come through a med and say, we're pushing you out of the military, and you might have 2 months before you're out. That's not enough time to do your SkillBridge. So there are ways to get those waivers. It just requires extra work. The other exceptions, again, would be typically like units that have high deployment rates. They're likely not letting their folks go do SkillBridge for a lot of them. And this goes to our Navy folks, especially too, where they're gone on ships all the time, deployed off on the ship. And so if they're in that situation, they need people like for Navy to do shore duty, or with other units, they need them back on the back end doing admin work while the other folks are deployed. That's one of those situations where the commander might not allow them out for SkillBridge. We've also seen it, and we've had challenges with some past interns where if they get their license too far ahead of joining our program, their commands at times have tried to use that against them and said, you already have a license. I see you posted on social media, you close this deal here. Like, why should I let you go do a SkillBridge? You sort of already know what you're doing, right? You don't need this time. We've been successful at writing letters in support of those members as a company that's been doing this with the DoD for several years, identifying that one sale that fell into their lap doesn't make a successful real estate agent. They still need to learn how to build a business, all the techniques they need to do, the financial planning, all those types of things. And yeah, they may have had 1 or 2 deals, but that doesn't mean they're going to be successful on the outside. The whole point of this, again, is helping military members be successful so that they're not homeless, so that they don't possibly have suicide rates. And so that's how we go and support that when needed.
David, how long were you in the service?
So I served 22 years, retired in March of 2024. After 22 years in the Air Force, I did 5 years of ROTC, so 27 years total military lifestyle, and just did a whole career, did a SkillBridge myself on the way out with a different company just to avoid any potential conflict of interest, but I did a SkillBridge as well. So I've seen it from both executing ours and doing others. And I'm also proud to say that within our real estate career, about half of our clients throughout our entire career have been fellow military families.
And how long does the SkillBridge program last?
So it can last up to 180 days. A lot of the ones that we're seeing recently with some of the commands trying to do reduced timeframes, we're seeing 120 days for folks, which we can still do that and do that effectively. Ideally, members coming to us will already have at least their pre-licensure classes done, right, for their license. And we can get you links on how to get that. There's, a program and discounts and all that from our affiliation with them. But ideally, they'll have those done. And optimally, you want to have your license before you start. That way you get all the benefits of the entire program. You can plug in. When you're a licensed member starting the program, you actually join our team as a licensed real estate agent. So you get to see the team inner workings and everything else. Whereas if you're unlicensed, there are limitations on the activities that you can do.
And what's the best thing for somebody to do who might have questions about the SkillBridge program in general? Can they speak to you, and where would they go?
So the best thing to do, since we have staff that's dedicated to doing this all day long, would be to reach out to our staff at support@skillbridgere.com, and they'll answer your questions. If they have anything that they can't personally answer, and again, they've helped hundreds of applicants going through this process. So if they have anything that they can't personally answer, they reach out to us, and either we answer through them or we'll set up a call with you.